A very warm welcome to NC Continental Prime. My name is Felicity Ezewike. The top stories at this hour. Nigeria police rescued dozens of people from torture house. Guinea's new Prime Minister Mohamed Bivoyi calls for unity. Kenya rejects United Nations jurisdiction ahead of Somalia border ruling. I'll bring you the details shortly. You're warm welcome for our viewers across Africa and the rest of the world. This is NC Continental Prime. The news at this hour begins in West Africa, where we understand the Nigeria police have rescued 47 people from what they describe as a torture house in the northern state of Kano. The property in Kano City was supposed to be a rehabilitation center where parents sent their children who they believe engage in criminal activities. When the police raided the compound, they found the 47 inmates, all males between 14 and 35 years old, in chains. They also showed signs of being beaten. Police spokesperson Abdullahi Haruna says the owner and manager have been arrested and will soon appear in court. Those rescued are now being treated in hospital. The Nigerian parliament has called for an upward review of the salaries of judicial workers in the country. This followed a motion raised on the floor of the House of the Representatives by a member of parliament, Onofiok Luke. Luke says despite the present economic realities and the skyrocketing costs of goods and services, wages of judicial officers have remained the same in the last 8 years. He adds that they were last reviewed in 2007 and have become a threat to the fair dispensation of justice, thus the need for an upward review.
The budget for the judiciary has remained at 110 billion since 2019, while the total budget size has continued to grow, leading to gross underfunding and neglect of the judiciary over the years, which have affected productivity, increased frustration, and deflated the morale of judicial officers and staff. The judiciary as an independent arm of government, the executive does not have the constitutional power to reduce or review the budget of the judiciary, but only to submit to the National Assembly the exact budget as proposed by the judiciary in consonance with the Constitution and constitutional practices of advanced democracy. Worried that poor remuneration of judicial officers is a serious threat to the judiciary, which is a critical institution of the state, and starving them of funds compromises their foundational functions.
Nigeria's former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has criticized calls for zoning of the presidency to any of the 6 regions. Abubakar, who was the People's Democratic Party flag bearer at the 2019 presidential elections, spoke to PDP faithful at the recent National Executive Council meeting in Abuja. He says Nigeria is in need of a truly Nigerian president, irrespective of ethnicity or religion, and condemned calls for zoning of the party's presidential candidacy. Abubakar adds that the practice of true federalism can be a solution of Nigeria's myriad of challenges.
Where the president comes from has never been the problem of Nigeria, and I can cite examples. Neither will it be the solution. There is no such thing as a president from southern Nigeria or a president from northern Nigeria. There is only a president from Nigeria, for Nigeria, by Nigerians.
Our focus should first be our country, Nigeria. Every interest, please, personal or collective, that is not for Nigeria should be set aside. And also, That interest should be the interest of our great party. And the interest of our party is, by the grace of God, for us to win 2023 elections. I call on us to understand our differences, respect them, and when necessary, forget them. We should look at our party and Nigeria and bury all our personal interests, because PDP is above any personal or individual or collective consideration.
In the meantime, the Nigerian government has called on India to take advantage of opportunities available in the West African countries' mining, telecommunication, economic, political and defense sectors. Nigeria's ambassador to India, Ahmed Sule, says the relationship between both countries has spanned several decades, with Nigeria on record as India's largest trading partner in Africa. Sule says with more than 50,000 Indians resident in Nigeria and the increasing demand for Indian goods by Nigerian consumers, there is a need to leverage the opportunities this relationship presents.
Nigeria is India's biggest trading partner in Africa, and India is one of the largest buyers of Nigerian crude oil. There are about 135 Indian companies owned and operated in Nigeria by Indians. There are more than 50,000 Indians living in Nigeria, the largest Indian community in West Africa. Nigeria, as the biggest economy in Africa, has huge investment opportunities. As the country is shifting its focus from oil and gas sectors to such areas as tourism, entertainment, mining, agriculture, for infrastructure development, fintech, ICT, education, health, pharmaceuticals, among others. Additionally, there is an increase in the demand of Indian goods and services in Nigeria, which inform the ever-growing commercial and economic ties between the two countries.
Staying in the region, Guinea's new Prime Minister, Mohamed Bivogi, has called for unity to ensure a smooth transition to civilian rule. Bivogi told journalists in the capital, Conakry, that his administration will be a government with a specific mission. As Prime Minister, Bivogi will oversee the transition to civilian rule following the overthrow of Alpha Conde's government on September 5 by the Mamadi Doumbouya-led military junta.
Le premier sentiment, c'est un sentiment d'honneur. Et puis, très sincèrement aussi, avec beaucoup d'émotion, qu'on peut recevoir une telle responsabilité au moment d'une transition qui est cruciale pour le futur de notre pays. Et je suis extrêmement reconnaissant au président du CNRD, le président de la République, le colonel Mamadi Doumbouya. Mes priorités sont celles du CNRD. Elles ont été déclinées, non seulement dans la charte, mais aussi en particulier dans le programme du 2 octobre. Nous n'avons pas un rôle de développement. Nous avons une mission à délivrer. Mon gouvernement sera un gouvernement de délivrables bien précis. Et nous allons être honnêtes sur ce qu'on peut faire et on doit faire. L'important, encore une fois, c'est de construire les bases du changement. La justice, l'administration qu'il faut pour que, d'une part, le volet politique se déroule dans les meilleures conditions et que le meilleur gagne aux élections à la fin. Nous sommes là, comme l'a dit le président, nous sommes là pour servir, pour créer ces conditions et partir. Parce que finalement, une administration, c'est quoi? Ce n'est pas une administration pour se servir, c'est une administration pour servir les citoyens. Les biens de l'administration sont les biens des citoyens. C'est une très grosse responsabilité. Mais nous allons essayer de faire en sorte que cette responsabilité soit assumée avec honneur et dignité.
Staying in West Africa, Sierra Leonean President Julius Maada Bio has signed a bill to end death penalty, becoming the 110th country in the world to ban capital punishment for all crimes on Friday. The move comes as lawmakers unanimously passed the bill in July to end capital punishment, replacing the death penalty with a mandatory life sentence. President Bio reaffirmed that his country has exorcised horrors of a cruel past, saying capital punishment is inhumane. Sierra Leone, which is still recuperating from decades of civil war, had frequently come under fire from rights groups for keeping capital punishment in the books. The last executions in Sierra Leone were carried out in 1998, when 24 military officers were put to death after a coup attempt. Since then, death sentences were often commuted. We head to the east of the continent. Kenya has rejected the jurisdiction of the United Nations International Court of Justice, ICJ, ahead of a ruling next week on its long-running maritime border dispute with Somalia. The Horn of African neighbors have been feuding for years over a stretch of the Indian Ocean claimed by both nations and believed to hold deposits of oil and gas. The disputed area covers 62,000 square miles triangle in the Indian Ocean. In March, Kenya announced that it would boycott ICJ hearings in the case after the Hague-based tribunal refused to allow further delays. The final ruling is due to be delivered on Tuesday. Staying in East Africa, as South Sudan prepares for its first ever elections expected in early 2023, civil society organizations have begun engaging with various independent electoral bodies in an effort to create awareness amongst themselves so they can strengthen their participation in a historic process that is lagging behind schedule. At a two-day forum held in the capital, Juba, participants heard that the civic political space is vital despite the challenges of the elections ahead.
The constituencies are to be determined according to the census results. Hence, it is a very important issue which I can suggest or I can advise the government and some NGOs to see to that census is conducted as soon as possible to enable us know the number of the population, and then the nation will determine their constituencies, and then we prepare for the election.
It is necessary that all the parties must follow the requirements for registration. And for the party to get registered, there are procedures that parties need to follow prior to registration. And looking into peace agreement, there's a time frame set forth for the election. And in the act itself, there are time set forth for registration prior to election. So you need to get registered at a certain period of time before the election. So if that period passes, then you won't be able to register for the election.
Civil society, since the first 100 days of the peace agreement, they've always been asking, they've always been voicing their concerns. This thing is not going on the way it should go. This thing is not going on the way it should go.
We now head to South Africa, where the National Union of Metal Workers have expressed sadness over the death of their member ahead of a picketing session. Thousands of workers in the metal and engineering sector went on strike this week, demanding an 8% salary increase across the board. Spokesperson, National Union of Metal Workers for South Africa, says it was a sad event, insisting that the union will take the matter to court.
NUMSA sends its deepest condolences to the family and friends of a NUMSA member who was killed allegedly at the hands of a motorist. The incident occurred on Tuesday, the first day of the national engineering strike. It is alleged that an angry motorist plowed into a group of workers while they were waiting to be picked up from the pickup point from the march, resulting in one of them being killed. It seems the motorist was angry because they were picketing and took the law into his own hands. His senseless actions resulted in the death of a worker, and we send our deepest condolences to his family and friends during this difficult time. We are also deeply concerned about other reports of attacks on striking workers who are participating in peaceful protests as part of the national engineering strike. Some of our members have been attacked by members of the SAPS, and in some cases they've been attacked by private security companies. On Wednesday, workers were shot at with rubber bullets while picketing at Diesel Electric. According to the report issued by union officials on the ground, the worker was shot with rubber bullets in the eye at point-blank range. This was an unprovoked attack by members of the police, as workers were posing no threat at the time when they opened fire. They were peacefully picketing and adhering to the picketing rules. We will be opening a case of police brutality with the Independent Police Investigative Directorate on this matter.
In the meantime, Gracia Marshall, the widow of Nelson Mandela, has urged South Africans to break the cycle of violence that women and girls are subjected to. She was speaking at the event to mark the 90th birthday of Nobel Peace Prize winner and South Africa's anti-apartheid icon, Desmond Tutu. While urging citizens to cherish Tutu's legacy, she says more needs to be done to identify and punish incidents of rape, sexual coercion, and abuse, as well as incest.
Here in South Africa, in schools and in the homes where they are supposed to find sanctuary and be the safest, adolescent girls of all ages are victims of unspeakable violence. Call on us to be more honest and nuanced in analysis of what is really going on. We need higher quality data and disaggregated reporting which captures pregnancy classifications under categories including statutory rape, intimidation, coercion, intrafamily sexual abuse, and incest. The data must expose these atrocities and guide proper corrective measures to bring an end to the violence against girls and women face on a daily basis. And as many adolescent girls mature into adulthood, often their fate is no less hospitable. Women are under attack daily in South Africa. A woman dies at the hands of her intimate partner every 8 hours. This translates into 3 women being killed by their loved ones every single day. And it is reported that more women are killed by her current or former partner here than in any other country in the world.
You're watching NC Continental Prime. Coming up, Senegal reopens air borders to all passengers. We'll bring you details of this and more when we return. Our continuous coverage of the coronavirus pandemic begins in the west of the continent. The Senegalese government has lifted restrictions on travelers to Senegal, marking the reopening of the West African country's air borders to all passengers with a negative COVID-19 PCR test within 5 days. The announcement was made by the Senegalese Minister of Tourism and Air Transport, who signed a circular. Airlines whose operating programs have been approved by the Civil Aviation Authority of Senegal or which have a specific authorization are authorized to embark and disembark their passengers who possess a negative COVID-19 PCR test within 5 days. Senegal had closed air borders to passengers from a number of countries due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Nigerian government has received about 501,000 doses of Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccines from the French government. Nigeria's National Primary Healthcare Development Agency says the donated vaccines were received on October the 4th as part of France's bid to support Nigeria's vaccination drive. The executive officer of the agency, while reiterating government's commitment to provide safe vaccines for all Nigerians, says measures are already in place to ensure proper accountability of vaccines in the country.
The donation of over 500,000 doses of AstraZeneca to Nigeria is a demonstration of France's confidence in Nigeria's ability to work not only as a partner, but also a very critical ally when it comes to the global fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. Nigeria's vaccine storage facilities have remained efficient and well maintained, as you saw earlier. No standards are being compromised in logistics requirements for effective management and utilization of all COVID-19 vaccines available in Nigeria. The federal government has in place the necessary measures to ensure monitoring and accountability of the vaccines. We track utilization of all COVID-19 vaccines in all states of the Federation and receive daily reports from our senior supervisors and state immunization officers who are in the field to monitor the management and administration of the vaccines.
We are very much aware, my president is very much aware of the necessity to make vaccine available to everyone all over the world. For the time being, there have been a big discrepancy between vaccination in the northern countries and vaccination in countries like Africa. I'm very happy to have this donation. I precise that this donation is, of course, with no condition attached, neither political, economic, or social condition. It's a complete donation, and I'm sure that it will be used very efficiently here in Nigeria through your different organizations.
In East Africa, Ethiopia's health ministry registered 921 new COVID-19 cases, taking the nationwide tally to 353,425. The ministry also reported 33 COVID-19 related deaths and 1,706 recoveries. Ethiopia, Africa's second most populous nation, has reported the largest number of COVID-19 cases in the East Africa region. Amid its national push for vaccination, Ethiopia has administered over 3.87 million vaccine doses. Ethiopia is among the countries hardest hit by COVID-19 in Africa, following South Africa, Morocco, and Tunisia. Staying in the region, Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni will be retested for COVID-19 after 3 of his aides tested positive for the virus. Museveni's consultant physician, Joseph Okiria, says the aides tested positive on their return with the president from trips to the United Arab Emirates and Ethiopia. He says the staff who tested positive have been isolated and are receiving care. Okiria adds that the president and other members of the team tested negative and will be retested. In the meantime, the number of daily infections in the East African country have continued to drop. You're watching NC Continental Prime. Still ahead, Islamic State claims responsibility for deadly attack on Gumzu Mosque. We'll bring you details of this when we return. Officials say a suicide bomb attack on a mosque in the Afghan city of Kunduz has killed at least 50 people in the deadliest assault since U.S. forces left. Bodies were seen scattered inside the Saidabad Mosque used by the minority Shia Muslim community. More than 100 people were injured in the blast in the northern city. The Islamic State group has claimed responsibility for the attack. Sunni Muslim extremists have targeted Shias who they see as heretics. ISK, the Afghan regional affiliate of the ICE group that is violently opposed to the governing Taliban, has carried out several bombings recently, largely in the east of the country. European Commissioner for Justice Didier Reynders says the European Union is looking at the best ways to respond after Poland's highest court ruled that EU treaties are incompatible with its national constitution. Poland has been at loggerheads with the Commission for several years over its judicial reforms, which are accused of undermining the independence of the judges. The reforms have also led to several condemnations by the EU Court of Justice and has seen the Commission block Poland's EU pandemic recovery cash over similar issues.
De regarder quels sont les meilleurs moyens de réagir à cette décision avec le dossier le plus solide possible. Donc vous comprendrez que c'est une décision juridique d'une haute juridiction, d'un tribunal constitutionnel, nous sommes en train de voir quels sont les moyens de droit que l'on peut utiliser pour faire respecter les principes que j'ai évoqués. Ça va prendre quelques temps, mais rassurez-vous, ce ne sera pas long. Est-ce que la gravité est mis en cause? Et donc ce n'est pas la première fois que nous avons à réagir. On veut effectivement éviter qu'il y ait non seulement, vous dites, l'effet boule de neige, mais une mise en cause finalement de l'Union elle-même. Vous ne pouvez pas vivre dans une Union sans respecter ces principes. Ces principes, ils sont acceptés par les pays eux-mêmes. Je rappelle quand même que là, we have more and more...
Did you know that it is slave labor to engage a graduate of 5 years or a postgraduate on a salary of 15,000 naira per month? As a thought of such jobs are unhealthy and hazardous. This revelation was made at the commemoration of the 2021 World Day for Decent Work, just as the International Trade Union Confederation, in collaboration with affiliates and other concerned organizations, reportedly encouraged the urgent creation of millions of jobs to boost recovery from the effects of COVID-19. Decent job is central to sustainable poverty reduction and is a means for achieving equitable, inclusive, and sustainable development.
In recent times, Nigeria's Minister of State for Labour, Festus Keyamo, announced the commencement of 774,000 jobs, 1,000 for each of the 774 local government areas across the country. However, the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria has described the Special Public Works Program aimed at employing 774,000 citizens as a huge scam. TUC President Comrade Quadri Olaleye disclosed this at an event organized by the Association of Senior Staff of Banks, Insurance and Financial Institutions to mark the 2021 World Day for Decent Work with the theme, The New Normal, Occupational Health and Safety Challenges Presented by New Technologies.
Work creation is not the responsibility of government because government cannot create quality jobs. The responsibility of government is to provide enabling environment for private sector to create jobs. The 774,000 jobs claimed to be created by government, to me, is a scam. Let government provide enabling environment. Let government give tax holidays to workers to cushion the effect of COVID-19. And those are what we are asking for.
The world is struggling to alleviate the impact of COVID-19 on jobs. The International Trade Union Confederation, ITUC, in collaboration with affiliates and other concerned organizations, is reportedly encouraging the urgent creation of millions of jobs to both recovery the effect of COVID-19 and to ensure future resilience. And we hope Nigeria recently declared 774,000 employment opportunity through the National Director of Employment. We believe, because one of the 4 pillars of during COVID-19 of the United Nations ILO is the sustenance and creation of more jobs.
The Decent Work Agenda was developed in 1999 by the International Labour Organization around 4 pillars, namely employment creation, rights at work, social protection, and social dialogue.
Let's now join Leone Nabanjo for the rest of the business news.
Glad to have you join us on Business News right here on NC Continental Prime. I am Leone Nabanjo. South Africa's biggest metal workers union said on Friday its members were considering a new proposal to end a strike in the engineering sector now in its 4th day. Details of this new deal has not been disclosed, but the statement before the strike started had an 8% demand from the Engineers and Metal Workers Union, National Union of Metal Workers of South Africa, otherwise known as NUMSA. The NUMSA, with around 155,000 members organized in the sector, have been on strike to press for higher wages and action that could hit supplies of parts to make new cars and accessories. A response is being expected from employers' body, the Steel and Engineering Industries Federation of Southern Africa, latest by Tuesday next week. Meanwhile, the African Development Bank has announced that it will support trade value at $7 billion over the next 5 years in a bid to spur the growth of the African Continental Free Trade Area that went into effect on January 1, 2021. The bank said it is targeting small and medium-sized companies, climate-friendly enterprises, and women-owned businesses. On the other hand, the Afrexim Bank also plans to make $40 billion in funding available over the next 5 years, while Africa Finance Corporation has also promised backing. The AfCFTA drastically relaxes rules of origin and non-tariff barriers, allowing traders of all sizes to explore the 1.3 billion people market across the continent. The agreement is the world's largest free trade area since the formation of the World Trade Organization. And away from that, we tell you that Kenya and Barbados have signed 3 key bilateral agreements for cooperation in aviation, environmental conservation, trade and investment. President Uhuru Kenyatta and Prime Minister Mia Mottley witnessed the signing of an air services agreement, memorandum of understanding on the development of the National Botanical Garden of Barbados, and another one on the establishment of a joint committee on trade and investment in Bridgetown, Barbados. President Kenyatta said Kenya and Barbados are focused on deepening people-to-people interactions, adding that it was the people who could turn the good relations between the two countries into profitable and meaningful relationships. Company boards have been advised to build a robust corporate governance framework that accommodates the demands and satisfies the interests of all stakeholders for the survival and growth of its corporate existence. Speakers at an annual virtual conference organized by the Society for Corporate Governance Nigeria came to this consensus and will bring you more details in this report.
Corporate governance is the system by which companies are directed and controlled, and many firms have board of directors who are responsible for the governance of their companies. Speakers at these virtual events with the theme Emerging Trends in Corporate Governance opined that the key driver to having a superior corporate performance and an enhanced value creation system is to design a framework for corporate governance that ensures sustainable growth for corporate establishments.
It is worthy to note that corporate governance principles are not static or solid principles within cast in stone. These principles differ according to environmental factors, economic circumstances, development levels, and of course, legal system.
Encourage companies to use sustainability-related accounting and reporting frameworks to facilitate consistency and comparability across markets. We must improve the quantity, quality, and comparability of climate-related disclosures in particular, and we support the need for a common framework, for example, based around the Task Force for Climate-Related Disclosures.
With specific focus on environmental, social, and governance, board diversity, regulations, and digital transformation, the panelists reveal that corporate financiers are in tune with emerging trends and tilting towards healthy, flexible, and compliant ESG outlook, a positive trend in corporate sustainability drives.
Now, even though the shareholder is a very important person in the company, there are many other people whose activity and interests contribute to the success of the company. And the trend now is for companies to work with the entire group of stakeholders in mind.
The board should look at the purpose. Generally, a sustainable company should be built or led by purpose. You have to look at, your intended users and stakeholders. You have to look at their reporting needs. You have to look at, those topics that are material to you as well.
It's incumbent on companies to create value not only for shareholders, but for all stakeholders, employing their resources into actively addressing social and environmental risks and opportunities now and into the future.
No doubt, corporate governance sets out to facilitate effective entrepreneurial and prudent management. These will ensure the long-term success of companies, and as conversations continue, It is hoped that best practices in the appointment and promotion of efficient boards and top management will be achieved over time. Leone Onobanjo, reporting for News Central.
Thank you, Leone, for those reports. Now, from Tiwa Savage's leaked sex tape to Chiwa Talago's arrest and release, Shehu Bankole brings us the big stories that made the rounds on the internet today, as well as the varying reactions from different social media users.
Thank God it's Friday, and thank you for joining us today on NC Trends. I am Shehu Bankole. So day in, day out, there are really big stories making the rounds on the internet, and it's always so fascinating to see the varying opinions from different social media users. Today we begin with this really big story in the entertainment scene that's got everyone posting, and I'm talking about Tiwa Savage. Why is Tiwa the talking point? Well, wait for it. In a recent interview in New York with Power 105.1 FM's Angie Martinez, the music star revealed that she is being extorted over a sex tape with her current partner. According to her, she got to find out about the blackmail after her road manager sent her the tape. When asked if the blackmailer was the person she's dating, Tiwa Savage cleared the air about her current partner's reaction to the news. In her words, "No, he's going crazy too." I'm like, "What are we gonna do?" And my manager is like, "How much are they asking for?" So I woke and I was like, "Nah, I pay now, 2 months time, you're gonna come back again. Who knows, if I do send you the money, you're gonna release it anyway. So I am not going to allow anyone to blackmail me for doing something that is natural." End of quote. Now, the reactions to this have been coming in large numbers. Here are some of them from online. Stanley begins and says, "Something don't sit right with me here. I love to WhatsApp it, but I feel like this is some Kim's move, Kim Kardashian. Get the world's attention by all means possible." Really? Attention-seeking strategy? Well, another comment says, "I'm not going to let anyone blackmail me for doing something that is natural. Blackmailer in the model. Sorry, Tiwa. Be more careful next time." Finally, this comment from Jessica Uba reads, "How can external body take a nude picture of you and the person you are dating? Was there CCTV in the room? Who placed the hidden camera in the room? Was the door slightly opened? Your partner should really be questioned seriously." Now, away from that, Nollywood actor Chiwetalu Agu, who was arrested by soldiers in Onitsha for wearing an outfit with semblance to the Biafran flag, has been released from army custody a day after his arrest. In a video posted by Nollywood actor Emeka Ike on his Instagram page on Friday, Agu was filmed with 2 representatives from the Actors Guild of Nigeria and was released via their intervention. The initial arrest sparked mixed reactions from the internet, trust me, but let's see what people are saying as regards his release. Trini says, "I have loved and respected this man through his movies, but today he has shown that he is a man of standard and dignity. He rose to his feet, not scared about the outcome of his action. He literally put his career on the line. Stand up for what you know is right." Another comment from Peacemaker says, "Thank God he has been released. He should be advised not to do that again. It is called treason. It is a crime." Well, all right, Pastor Idowu Bankole says, "We thank God Chiwetalu Agu is freed. Most importantly, the veteran actor is safe and sound. I bet in the coming days you may hear gory stories from him of what really happened with military officers." Finally, let's touch on this really interesting challenge that has taken over the social media space. That is the hashtag "Pregnancy will humble you." Well, different women, including celebrities, are sharing photos of themselves while pregnant, showing how pregnancy changed their bodies and gave them stretched noses. That one was really hilarious. Swollen feet, tired faces, and so on. Well, on-air personality Tolu Oniru Demoren, aka Tools, and actress Toyin Abraham are among the celebrities that have joined the challenge as they shared photos showing how pregnancy changed their faces. Well, while some people are laughing about transition in the pictures, others are actually taking lessons from it. So let's see some comment now. This one says, "All these pregnancy humbled me pictures are hilarious. Really, you should check them out. They are super hilarious. Pregnancy will truly humble you. I legit was looking and walking from a penguin that year. My nose was half of my entire face. Dark times." Woo. Another comment says, "Your entire pregnancy will humble you, but becoming a good parent, woo, that is a different discipline everyone in the world should embark on at some point in their lives." Are you ready to be a parent? 2 hands in the air if you are ready. Finally, Finally, Brit says, I had the booty and the juice, okay? I miss the old me. Now I'm just a fat pumpkin. Pregnancy will really humble you. Well, it's been a super thrilling week bringing you the latest trends and their reactions. Thank you for joining us back to back to back. Now, if you have not, kindly follow us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn at News Central TV and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Shion Bankole. Have a great weekend. I'll see you on Monday.
Organizers of the Higher Institutions Football League have announced that the University of Maiduguri Warriors will battle Adekunle Ajasin University for the 2021 Haifel Trophy this weekend at the Yaba College of Technology, Yaba Tech Sports Complex. The third place game between the University of Nigeria and Nsukka and the Federal University of Technology, Mina Transformers, will also hold at the venue on Saturday. The report is presented from our studios.
The final of the 2021 edition of the Higher Institution Football League has been scheduled to take place on October the 9th at the Yaba Tech Sports Complex, Lagos, with the two finalists, Unimade Desert Warriors and AAUA Luminaries, slugging it out for the rights to the trophy. Speaking ahead of this weekend's final, Dr. Onyekachi Onubogu described this year's edition of the Collegiate Football League as fantastic, applauding the dedication and determination of the players to succeed in the round leather game. On his part, the Chief Strategy Officer of Peace Sports and Entertainment Marketing Limited, Goodness Onyejiaku, commended the opportunities enshrined for football development in Africa.
100 universities in Nigeria, I'm sure there are well over 100 polytechnics and stuff. The challenge we've had is how do we get the right kind of support and sponsorship to make it happen. Every time we play, we have to go home and you play in this from Maiduguri to Lagos to Aba to Port Harcourt. It's a lot of commitment. And as we grow our sponsorship base and get the strength, financial strength to do it, we'll expand. It is Higher Institution Football League. It's not a university football league. But I know that as years go, you will see an inclusion. The challenge we're trying to do is to expand and manage our expansion in a way that is sustainable, because this journey, it's just 3 years. We want to build a journey that in 20, 30 years, we'll say that 150 high institutions are participating in knockout stages, and we will get there.
It shows the social and youth development that's going on. It shows we want the youth to be happy. There's a lot of restive problems within the country, so it's one part that we want to use to get kids to be happy, have fun, develop their talents, and join those who have gone out from here to play in other leagues outside and in Nigeria.
Unimade Desert Warriors from the University of Maiduguri head into the finals as the highest scoring team from the round of 16 with 11 goals, along with Adekunle Ajasin University's AAUA Luminaries, the first state-owned university to qualify for the Super 4 and to play in the final of the HIFL since 2018.
The thing is, I really believe by the special grace of God that we are going to play our game. As you are aware, we're a goal-scoring side. We will continue to be one. Hopefully, by the grace of God, we will score goals and then we win the trophy and take it to Maiduguri by special grace.
It's been very, very fantastic in allowing and creating a platform for the younger ones, the youths, undergraduates, that says that, saying that you want to take cognizance, which is, learning, teaching and learning, and the affective aspect of it. But it's one that is very important, that is psychomotor aspect. Allowing the students, creating a platform for them to showcase what they have. And IFL has been able to give that platform. So we are lucky that Adekunle Ajasin University, AAU Luminaries have been able. Imagine my captain, the captain of my team is the law students, 300 level law students. So we are happy that we are here today. So we started with plenty of matches, we only lost one. So in our qualifying series at Uniben in our zone, we play 5 matches. So if we play 5 matches compared to a team that just played 2 matches to qualify for the round of 16. So you can see the difference.
The 4 teams in 2021 Super 4 have scored 24 goals amongst them from the round of 16, with Suleiman Saleh of the Unimade Desert Warriors topping the scorer's log with 4 goals.
Let's go now to entertainment. Netflix acquires Izu Ojukwu's feature film, Amina. Our very own Sam Dandy is giving us the details right now. Sam Dandy, what's going on?
Happening, Felicity. Thank you very much. So Netflix, like you have said, has acquired Izu Ojukwu's longer-awaited feature film titled Amina. Now, this is based on the 16th century Zazzau Empire warrior Queen Amina herself. Now, fans have long waited since its trailer debuted in 2017, and sources say it will launch on the streaming platform on the 4th of November. Now, it was financed by the Bank of Industry in 2015, and the coming-of-age story of the legendary warrior Queen Amina was shot in Nigeria, and the post-production was done in Europe. Now, Amina is an ode to strong female characters from Nigeria's rich history and features real fighting scenes that took months for the actors to master. Now, Amina stars Lucy Ame in the lead role alongside Clarion Chukwuka, Ali Nuhu, Magajin Jiyawa, amongst others. Now, I do have a trailer of that. Let's watch this.
We protect our women in Zazzau. It has always been this way.
I understand. With your mouth, you set him free yesterday. Or is your word no longer a bond? Or is your bond no longer the law of Zazzau?
Before the night is over, you'll be the most powerful, feared woman in all of Zazzau.
I loved him, Aladiame. He sacrificed his sword to save.
Talk about a strong representation of female characters, of course, and the strength of a woman. Well, let's go to international scene. Netflix's most-watched show, Squid Game, may be under some attack. A Korean businesswoman has suffered harassment from the fans of the show. She revealed that since the series premiered on the streaming platform, she has received thousands of calls and texts from fans asking about the horror competition. Now, Netflix has now reportedly confirmed plans to edit scenes from the series, owing to the woman suffering prank calls. Now, the woman identified herself as Gil Young, said, and I quote, "This is a number that I've been using for more than 10 years, so I'm quite taken aback. There are more than 4,000 numbers that I've had to delete from my phone. At first, I didn't know why, but my friend told me that my number came out in Squid Game, and that's when I realized." Now, reports further revealed that Gil Young turned down compensation offers of up to 5 million won. That's about 3 million pounds and over 2 billion naira, if you ask me. Well, I do have a trailer of it, just in case you haven't seen Squid Game. Here's that.
지금 이 자리에 계신 여러분들은 모두 감당할 수 없는 빚을 지고 삶의 벼랑 끝에 서 계신 분들입니다. 게임에 참가를 원하지 않는 분은 지금 말씀해 주시길 바랍니다.
Of course, that series has made buzz all across social media and, in fact, has broken records. Well, that's how much we can take at entertainment for tonight. Back to Felicity with the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, Dandy. Those trailers, they do look nice. All right, let's go now to our weather desk for a look at what to expect in terms of sunshine and precipitation across the continent. That's how we wrap things up at this hour. But before we go, Another look at some of the major stories. The Nigerian police have rescued dozens of people from a Thatcher house in northern state of Kano. Guinea's new Prime Minister has called for unity. And finally, we told you that Kenya has rejected United Nations jurisdiction ahead of Somalia border ruling. Do follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can download our mobile app on the App Store and Play Store. You can also watch News Central live on Star Times Channel 274, Apple TV Channel 23, Vision 247, Free TV, and on YouTube. As always, many thanks for watching.